20 things only highly creative people would understand. If you love a highly creative person, you probably experience moments when it seems like they live in a completely different world than you. Truth is, they do. But trying to change them isn't nearly as effective as trying to understand them. It all begins by seeing the world through their lens and remembering these 20 things. 1. They have a mind that never slows down. The creative mind is a non-stop machine fueled by intense curiosity. There is no pause button and no way to power it down. This can be exhausting at times, but it is also the source of some crazy fun activities and conversations. 2. They challenge the status quo. 2 questions drive every creative person more than any others: what if? And why not? They question what everyone else takes at face value. While uncomfortable for those around them, it's this ability that enables creatives to redefine what's possible. 3. They embrace their genius even if others don't. Creative individuals would rather be authentic than popular. Staying true to who they are, without compromise, is how they define success, even if means being misunderstood or marginalized. 4. They have difficulty staying on task. Highly creative people are energized by taking big mental leaps and starting new things. Existing projects can turn into boring slogs when the promise of something new and exciting grabs their attention. 5. They create in cycles. Creativity has a rhythm that flows between periods of high, sometimes manic, activity and slow times that can feel like slumps. Each period is necessary and can't be skipped, just like the natural seasons are interdependent and necessary. 6. They need time to feed their souls. No one can drive cross-country on a single take of gas. In the same way, creative people need to frequently renew their source of inspiration and drive. Often, this requires solitude for periods of time. 7. They need space to create. Having the right environment is essential to peak creativity. It may be a studio, a coffee shop, or a quiet corner of the house. Wherever it is, allow them to set the boundaries and respect them. 8. They focus intensely. Highly creative people tune the entire world out when they're focused on work. They cannot multitask effectively, and it can take 20 minutes to refocus after being interrupted, even if the interruption was only 20 seconds. 9. They feel deeply. Creativity is about human expression and communicating deeply. It's impossible to give what you don't have, and you can only take someone as far as you have gone yourself. A writer once told me that an artist must scream at the page if they want a whisper to be heard. In the same way, a creative person must feel deep if they are to communicate deeply. 10. They live on the edge of joy and depression. Because they feel deeply, highly creative people often can quickly shift from joy to sadness or even depression. Their sensitive heart, while the source of their brilliance, is also the source of their suffering. 11. They think and speak in stories. Facts will never move the human heart like storytelling can. Highly creative people, especially artists, know this and weave stories into everything they do. It takes longer for them to explain something. Explaining isn't the point. The experience is. 12. They battle resistance every day. Steven Pressfield, author of The War of Art, writes, "Most of us have two lives. The life we live, and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance." Highly creative people wake up every morning, fully aware of the need to grow and push themselves. But there is always the fear, resistance as Pressfield calls it, that they don't have what it takes. No matter how successful the person, that fear never goes away. They simply learn to deal with it, or not. 13. They take their work personally. Creative work is a raw expression of the person who created it. Often, they aren't able to separate themselves from it, so every critique is seen either as a validation or condemnation of their self-worth. 14. They have a hard time believing in themselves. Even the seemingly self-confident creative person often wonders, am I good enough? They constantly compare their work with others and fail to see their own brilliance, which may be obvious to everyone else. 15. They are deeply intuitive. Science still fails to explain the how and why of creativity. Yet, creative individuals know instinctively how to flow in it time and again. They will tell you that it can't be understood, only experienced firsthand. 16. They often use procrastination as a tool. Creatives are notorious procrastinators because many do their best work under pressure. They will subconsciously, and sometimes purposefully, delay their work until the last minute simply to experience the rush of the challenge. 17. They are addicted to creative flow. Recent discoveries in neuroscience reveal that the flow state might be the most addictive experience on Earth. The mental and emotional payoff is why highly creative people will suffer through the highs and lows of creativity. It's the staying power. In a real sense, they are addicted to the thrill of creating. 18. They have difficulty finishing projects. The initial stage of the creative process is fast-moving and charged with excitement. Often, they will abandon projects that are too familiar in order to experience the initial flow that comes at the beginning. 19. They connect dots better than others. True creativity, Steve Jobs once said, is little more than connecting the dots. It's seeing patterns before they become obvious to everyone else. 20. They will never grow up. Creatives long to see through the eyes of a child and never lose a sense of wonder. For them, life is about mystery, adventure, and growing young. Everything else is simply existing, and not true living.